Hello there, it's the football show. It's nice to be with you again. It's a Monday evening, and my name is Wale, by the way, before I forget. Um, Welcome to the football show. I've got my mate and colleague, Amos, also here with me today, as usual. And today we're going to be analyzing, obviously, the World Cup qualifiers Qatar 2022. So we had, you know, range of matches has come and gone. Obviously, we're going to be zeroing in on the African continent, having a look at some of the big teams there in Africa, and obviously, analyzing the past games, and obviously looking forward to the future games. We've got games coming up tomorrow in the African qualifiers, and start. Chief of the games will be the Super Eagles. That's the Nigerian national team playing against the Blue Sharks. That's the Cape Verdean team. This is going to be at Teslim Balogun Stadium tomorrow in Lagos. Kickoff is going to be 4 p.m. So obviously we're going to, Amos and I are going to be talking about that one. Not before we actually talk about that one, we also review the last game the Super Eagles played against Liberia, Lone Stars of Liberia. Nigeria won 2-0, courtesy two penalties by Osime and Ahmed Musa. I don't know. What's your thoughts about the game? Did you think Nigeria actually deserved to win that game? All Nigeria wanted was just a 3 points at stake. They got it, and what more could we ask for? Could we have done more? To start, Amos, thanks for joining us. Before you come in, Amos, I just want to read something that the Super Eagles head coach, said during his press conference when people obviously asked him that was he satisfied about the Super Eagles performance, and he felt a bit slighted. He said, and I quote, "I don't waste my time listening to people who always say everything bad about the team. We are top of the group, 2 points ahead, won 4 games from 5, and we are in a good shape. The situation ahead of tomorrow. Our players are very hungry to perform. We have a good team. Blah 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 blah." Amos, welcome. So, our head coach, Mr. K. Roa, I said, "Listen, I don't need to engage or probably uh, answer critics, so to say." Because as far as this is concerned, Nigeria is doing well, and obviously, yes, it's the top of the Group C, doing well. But the performances still provides a lot of questions. In that Group C, we have teams like Central African Republic, Liberia, and Cape Verde. I mean, it's just like England being a team filled with San Marino, Albania, and uh, probably another small team in Europe, and they are like not playing the greatest of football. They're not scoring enough, despite having the likes of Harry Kane and what have you. And Gareth Southgate is now saying, "No, I don't want to answer my critics. I feel we're doing well. So just look at the bright side." Yeah, fine, we're looking at the brighter side, but what happens when the Super Eagles decide when they come up against top teams, top African teams? We're talking about the Egyptians, the Moroccans, the Algerians, the Senegalese. What happens when we come against top teams like that? Uh, uh, shouldn't we be doing something now before we get to that level where maybe we now qualify for the World Cup and obviously exit at the group stage again and everybody is okay? We've been to the World Cup. That's good. That's good. Amos, what do you think? Should we just let Roy be and just leave him to do whatever he wants to do and just zip up?
I think first off, let me say good evening to you out there. Um, yeah, it's the job of the
I'm already
journalist.
in the spirit. Don't mind me.
It's the job of the journalist to ask those sort of questions.
Mm,
I haven't seen such an uninspiring game of football. People started asking questions. Is this how? Is this the best that we can be?
mm,
We're just 2 months away, or less than a month, to the Nations Cup in January. and we're going to be playing Egypt, Sudan, and Guinea-Bissau. We're a few months away from qualifying for the FIFA World Cup. Where we're going to be playing in the playoff rounds to get to the Mundial itself, and the coach is asking us not to ask questions. I find that very, very weird. Raw is a very weird person. You could see that in some of his decisions, really. Even on the play, when the boys are playing, you could see the level of the spirit, the kind of spirit that is right there on the field. You can feel it. You can see that he's just a bit too quiet. You don't see too much technical input, no tactics. You almost don't know what to make of that game against the Liberia on the day. You know, when the game started, you're like, what's going on here? For like the first 10 minutes, you're almost asking, what am I watching? You know, whoever has an option of watching a cartoon or something will just tune off and like I'll go watch a cartoon instead of watch this thing that the Super Eagles are playing. Is that funny? And then people are asking you a question, and then you say critics. I listened to Raw immediately after the game. He had one post-match conference, and then it was done by Babafemi Raji. That's the Super Eagles media officer, and he says, "Oh, he's much more happy that we didn't concede one, and he's also happy that we got 3 maximum points. He also feels a bit bad that we couldn't score on open play other than penalties. But penalty, the reality is penalty is also part of the game, right? If
Mhm.
you don't oppress, if you don't put pressure, if you don't come aggressively at opponents, you're not going to get a penalty. That's the truth. So
True.
it's also part of the game. If we look at the game yesterday, Ghana versus South Africa, it was decided on by a penalty. If the
Yep.
penalty is justified, that's another question for another day, right? So,
Yeah.
but but we got 2 penalties in a game where we had top strikers like Victor Osimhen, we've got Kelechi Iheanacho, we've got Moses Simon, we've got Joe Aribo. We've got loads of players, and then you're telling us not to ask questions. When we don't score against a team like Liberia that we should breeze away on a normal day. And I feel like maybe we're getting too arrogant about our team. We're
Mm.
not so fantastic as we think. But the reality is we see these guys week in, week out. We see what they do at their various clubs, and you begin to ask questions. Why are we struggling to replicate the same form that we get at club level for national team? Then something is wrong. Then what is wrong is the technical or tactical input from the coach. And it is very clear that it all boils down to the coach, because you don't get to see these players all the time. You don't get to be with them all the time, all year long. You only get to see them when they are available for national team call up. That's the only time you get to see them, and you don't have that luxury of time. What you have is just a few weeks or a few days actually to just practice, and then you get on the field. So the selection you make first, when I saw the selection, I was like, what's Rod doing? We've seen, before 2 or 3 weeks before the game, we've seen Ola, we've seen what he has been doing at his club. We saw Zaidu Sanusi at Porto, and then you decided to play a 3-man defense. Thank God our Zim was there on the day, else would have been crying foul. So and you start asking questions like, what exactly is going on? You brought an Ndidi.
Well, well. He opted for a 3-5-2 formation. I started Moses Simon,
Hmm. As a
Moses
wing back.
Simon as a wing back, and Jamie Collins obviously as a wing back, and obviously the pairing of Leon and Trust and Chidozie at the back as a back three. But a few weeks ago, on probably a few episodes ago, I
Hmm.
asked you this question, and I said, why can't Roa play to the strengths of the players he's got? Why why are we playing 3-5-2 when we don't really have players that can buy into that system. You know, is he not sure of the Oyinbo World pairing? Is that why he's deciding to play three at the back? Because obviously, we've seen we are beginning to see cracks now in the Oyinbo Wall, the famed
Mm.
Oyinbo Wall, and now Azem is being brought in to probably shore up that defense.
Yeah.
Could it be why Mr. Raw now decided, all right, come on, let me go with 3-5-2 this time and see if it works?
Mm.
Do you buy that idea? And the other thing is, what more do we want? We actually top. We're top. We're top of the group.
Mm.
It's most likely we're going to qualify for the
Mm.
playoffs.
Mm.
All we want are the points in the bag. Should we be satisfied with just having the points in the bag and not really worry about the display of the boys or what have you?
I think with the quality of opposition that we've had recently, I'll put it this way: in the last 9 months or thereabout, let's say 2021, the Super
Mm,
Eagles have played about 7 games, 7 competitive games, and they've won 6 and lost just 1. And that one was against Central African Republic, which we shouldn't
yeah,
have lost. It's
and in
criminal to
Lagos.
lose against Central African Republic at our backyard in Lagos. It is criminal. How do you explain it that you lost to CAR in Lagos, Teslim Balogun Stadium? How do you explain that? But kudos to him. He's won 6 games, competitive games, out of out of one. We can't ask for too much. We can't ask for more. There's nothing more you expect from a coach other than get maximum points and qualify. But the quality of opposition, we have to talk about it. We
Mm,
really have to make mention of the quality of the oppositions that we've been playing. Increase the quality of this opposition, and you begin to see, because we already seen the glimpse of what it will look like if we play a better opposition than the ones we've been playing. Like, if we play better oppositions than the ones we've been playing, the guys we've been playing. We're not discrediting the likes of Liberia, Cape Verde, and every other team that we played, Benin Republic. But what we're saying is that there are teams that are far better when it comes to even in terms of the ranking. We are
mm,
going to struggle really. We're going to really struggle when we go past this phase. And look at it this way. Yeah, if you're going to play a 3-5-2 formation, you've got someone you always trusted, which is Wilfred Ndidi. And if you're going to play Wilfred Ndidi, of course, I'm not going to ask him to sit Wilfred Ndidi on the bench. Is arguably the best that we can boast of when it comes to the heart of the midfield for us, right?
mhm.
As a CM, or as a DM. So you play Ndidi, you don't have an Etebo, but you've got a Joe Aribo. Joe Aribo. My fear for Joe Aribo is, I feel like he doesn't understand African football yet. He's still
Mm,
playing a European kind of football, too much flair, trying to no. See, African football comes with a lot of power, a lot of strength. You need to fight, you need to actually fight your way through.
mm,
Kudos to the likes of JJ Okocha for all that they have done on the African scene, because they've got the flair. At the same time, they are rugged. So if you're
mm.
going to
Yeah,
play if you're going to play in the middle, on an African level, you need to be rugged. You need to be a fighter. You need to fight your way through. Look at what an instance is. Look at Etebo. Etebo is a proper African man. The way he plays
proper
in the middle.
African man.
Yeah, he's a proper African man. He busts forward, he comes backward, and that's it. So, but I expected that. Oh, Frank Onyeka, just put Frank Onyeka, let him play with Ndidi, and then
Indeed.
you bring what's his name now, Alex Iwobi. If you so trust that Alex Iwobi is back, then put him in front of them. Let him also join them, and then Moses Simon. See, Raw hasn't gotten something about Moses Simon. Moses Simon, with all of the assists that he's getting at um at Nantes in France, he plays from the left wing. But the truth is, like I always say this all the time, most Nigerians who criticize our players, or who watch the Super Eagles based off one game, and then they say, "Oh, this guy doesn't know how to play. Oh, this guy is a bad player." Just the same thing that we've always been saying about Maduka Okoye. Most people don't watch
Mm,
him in his league. Thank God, thank goodness he has moved to the. He has made a move to Watford now. We'll
mm,
start seeing him probably from January. But if you look at Moses Simon with Nantes, Moses Simon often plays from the left wing, and then it's easier for him to cut to his right and then make a proper cross. We've always been complaining. I, for one, I'm always complaining about the crosses that he's been delivering. His deliveries are not the best of deliveries. He's not been hitting the right notes really. But going forward, coming backward, he's been excellent. And I think that is what Raw wants from him. So at the same time, you also need to look at, okay, what exactly does the coach want from this guy? I think Raw is getting what he wants from Moses Simon. That's a player like Moses Simon. But what about the middle? We struggle to play. I can tell you categorically that the Liberians were better at putting passes together than our team
mm,
on the day. They,
mm,
they, they were
mhm,
combining well, they were going forward, they were coming, they run riot on our lines. Jamilu Collins was not on holiday that day. He was
yeah,
really busy
yeah,
because they kept him really busy. And that's it. They're going to keep your guy really busy. If you feel like this guy maybe perhaps does not understand, and who says you can't even change your formation during the game? If you feel like this thing is
exactly.
not working, then change it.
Change,
If
yeah.
you feel like you can't trust these guys enough with this thing, then change it. And then, like we've always said, this our backline. On the day they are going to have to mark a player like Sadio Mane or Mo Salah, they are going to sweat
Almost.
and bleeding. It's going to be a lot. See, when you mark players that are super intelligent, just a little bit of quality from Liberia, and then we would have considered that day. A little bit of quality, just a little bit more, they would have scored us. But they just went up to that level to have to have gotten the back of the net. So, but if you look at it again, based on the stats overall, general, he has been in charge for 63 games since he took over the Super Eagles of Nigeria. He has won 35 games. He has drawn 15 games, and then 13 he has lost. He has 55%, 55.5%. Not a bad
Which is not
result,
bad. Yeah.
which is not bad, average. But that also tells you that our team is an average team. So we should
Hmm.
stop being arrogant about the Super Eagles. And that's my conclusion from that. See, we need to be
But
realistic
but
with
but
ourselves.
but
We're
but
not
but
playing
the
the best of
but
football.
but the thing is, if you mentioned now that we see quite now we're looking at the games getting robbed of I've been in charge since he's coming in, just like you mentioned.
Yeah.
You look at this and you think we've got. If I tell you on top of your head now, I just see someone. I meet someone on the road and I mention one or two Liberian footballers.
Hmm.
They probably would be like, "Who? Who are you talking about?" But in the Super Eagles, I am sure if you go out there, you mention Sime, you mention Hianacho, you mention Didi, you mention,
All of the players.
some of the other players,
Hmm.
everyone knows them. So I think team, just like you said, is an average team. The players are probably at the top of their games, especially in Europe, because they play for top teams. So again, like we mentioned, I think we mentioned some time ago, about two episode or an episode ago, we did say that if we are to have a top manager or a manager that probably understands this player, a manager that's got that technical versatility,
Hmm.
would be able to mold the Super Eagles into something terrifying ahead of the Nations Cup and obviously the World Cup. Because you look at these players, you look at them, you see them. You've mentioned Moses Simon, what he does in Ligue 1, and the same for Maduka Okoye, what he does in Eredivisie in Holland. In the Serie A, Osimhen is more like a mini god in Napoli, in Naples at the moment.
Hmm.
Iheanacho, people respect him in
Hmm.
Leicester. So why is it that they come back to the African continent, and then they are so dismal. At first we were thinking, the last episode we also mentioned that thankfully we've got a very nice pitch, so we don't have to blame the pitch now. And Raw actually confirmed that this is a nice pitch. you know. But you see, an Osimhen that was one on one with a goalkeeper, and he decided to play rugby that day.
Hmm.
You know, and you now begin to wonder: Are we going to get it right before the Nations Cup? Are we going to really get this right if we qualify for the World Cup at the World Cup? Or should we at this moment now be thinking about probably, you know, Mr. Raw, thank you so much. We got us to where you can. We don't think you can progress us. Because what we need now at the World Cup, starting with the Nations Cup, is to win the Nations Cup. That's what we want. We don't want no third position. We don't want to be a silver medalist, or we don't want to be falling out at the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Nigeria needs to win it. And when we go to the World Cup, we don't want a situation where, all right, group stages. Nigeria's been to the World Group stage, bye bye, go, and you see the likes of Senegal progressing.
Yeah.
So as the time come to say, Mr. Raw, thank you so much for what you've done. We don't think you can take us any further. And then golden handshake and bye bye.
So I really don't mean to like press um a panic button right now, but the truth also is that Raw, if Raw cannot give us, if we don't have a team that we can be confident of now, if we're 2 months away from AFCON and then we're not confident about our team, blowing teams like CAR, Cape Verde, Liberia away,
Liberia.
then we should
Mm.
be worried. We should really be worried because you would come and say, "Oh, you want to top the group? You've topped the group. You want to qualify for AFCON? I have qualified for AFCON. You want to qualify for the World Cup? I'm on track." But we're not confident we're not confident about when we get to the tournament itself. We're confident that, oh, with the level of opposition that you've been assigned, of course you are going to be able to beat them because of the level of players that we have, because of the quality that we possess, which is individual games. And that's it. Our players will come to Nigeria and they will play individual football. Individual brilliance is what has been carrying us through, not team play. Go and check all our goals. You realize that it's not much of teamwork. you know Teamwork is lacking. Talk about sport kicks. We are very terrible. Every time we get a free kick close to the post, right, close to the goal, and then you see here Nacho, you see everybody scrambling, and you're like, what's going on? Don't we have somebody that we can delegate to say, oh, this, and we can't even say from the top of our head to say, or categorically to say, this is our sport kick taker. We should be worried. We should really be worried. And when we ask the coach, he says critics. No, people have to criticize the team. People will critically look at the team and say, Coach, we think that you're lacking in this place. See, even people who don't know football, who don't follow football really, understand that the team is playing badly. It was a borough fest on that day, on Saturday. I'm like, what's the Super Eagles playing? I don't even see us combining well, going forward. And then you went ahead to go and bring on players that you are not going to use at the end of the day. And we're still going to talk about, like, you have five substitutions, opportunity to bring on fresh legs, and you don't use them until about 80 minutes or 85 minutes. Coach, what is going on? you know it's so the problem I see with that is either you don't trust your players that you've got on the bench, because any coach who trusts the players he's got on the bench would gladly bring them on. Look at a team like Chelsea. But I don't like to compare national team versus club. But the truth
Mm.
is, it's the same thing. If you've got guys that you can trust on the bench, you can bring them on even at 40 minutes, even at 30 minutes, even at 60 minutes. You can bring them on anytime. But you don't have to wait until 80, 85 minutes and you say, oh, the guys who are on the field are doing well. Man, your team is not scoring on open play. You can only score via a penalty that the goalkeeper conceded, and you say that your players are doing well. That means you don't know what you're doing. It's also that you have invited the wrong players. You know, okay. Oh, they asked him, why didn't you play? Why didn't you play Johnny Gallo? Oh, Johnny Gallo just came on Thursday. What about the other players? You know, what about the other players who have been there all along? Why don't you bring them on? Why don't you just tinker the thing a little bit more? Why don't you just tweak some things and make it work? Because it's either he's not worried of it, or he's just not bothered. You know, it's either he's not worried or he's just not bothered. But we are worried about our team because we love our team, we're passionate about the team, and we want the team to go forward. We want the team to keep
Mm.
progressing. We want to be proud of our team. We don't want to face a Morocco and we're scared. You know, just imagine what the NFF president said. Oh, we just for us to avoid teams like Morocco. What the hell? Why do you want to avoid teams like Morocco? Why are you thinking about avoiding teams like Algeria? Why are you thinking about avoiding teams like Cote d'Ivoire? You should be glad that you're going to face those guys and you're going to edge them out. You know, if you cannot compete against the best, then you don't have to be there. You don't deserve to be there. If you know that you're going to be scared of Morocco, you're going to be scared of Algeria, then you shouldn't be there. You should as well lose from the qualifying phase. Just lose from the from the group phase. If you're not confident enough, because what this sends is a wrong message. This is sending a very wrong message to Nigerians that, hey guys, we are not good enough, and it's bad to even talk to players that way. Who is teaching
Mm.
these guys? Who is mentoring, or let me say, who are the psychologists of the team? How can you come and be telling footballers like that, those kind of words? How can you come to the team and then you say, "Oh, we're trying to avoid"? Come on, you're not giving them enough confidence. You're saying that they're not good enough. That's what you're saying. You're making them feel less of themselves.
I think it's just a general
People are
problem
annoying.
that we probably have been having in that country. I always tend to probably compare us to other countries, and when I try to compare us to other countries, I compare us to countries that we should actually be learning from. How many times have you seen the English FA president or chairman or whatever you want to call him come on BBC or ITV or Sky Sports to talk about what Gareth Southgate should be talking about? You
No,
know, so it's just that mentality. I think is one of those things that I think we need to change. We need to
honestly,
actually address. You know, the
honestly.
mentality of I am the president, so I decide. You know, I'll be the one to psych the boys up. If we are doing well, it is me, the president. If we are failing, blame it on coach or the boys. You know, that's not the way to go about it. But
Wale,
quick,
let me
yeah.
quickly chip in something, right?
Mm,
Algeria
mm.
played Niger, spanked Niger 6-1. Algeria played Niger again, spanked them 4-0. You know, they played Djibouti, spanked Djibouti 4-0. They played Liberia earlier in June, they spanked them 5-1. You know, these guys are not joking. They are going for the business, you know. They don't joke. They go, they spank people, you know. They played Tunisia, they beat Tunisia 2-0. I'm looking at all their games now. They played Mali, they beat Mali 1-0. They played Mauritania, beat Mauritania 4-1, beat Botswana 5-0. These guys are not joking, you know. But we think that, oh, we should be
No, we
avoiding
will
these
avoid
guys.
them. We will avoid
Why
them.
why
Yes,
why are you telling
we
why
are
are you
going to
saying
avoid
that to
them.
players? Who are the
And you know,
psychologists? Who are the psychologists in the
he
camp?
he's a CAF vice president, so he probably knows what to do to avoid them. So we're going to go on a quick break, Amos, because we've got into the first half of the show. So we're going to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we're just going to look at some of the brightest sparks of the game we played against Liberia. We're talking about the likes of Awazem we've spoken about. We're going to talk about Chidera Ejike. We've always mentioned this boy. Every time we're on this show, we talk about him. Kind of like a breath of fresh air to the team, but probably a guy that also needs direction. Direction when it comes to his final decision making. Should the coach actually be taking charge of that? Ejike is a very good player, but his decision making sometimes, lets him down. Should a coach or should one? Yobo is there for Christ's sake. What is he doing? Should he be the one that should be talking to this kind of players? I mean, Yobo's been there, plays a versatile player, ex-player, experienced ex-player. He knows what should be happening. But we're gonna go on a short break. When we come back, we'll take a look at Chiduka Ejuke and obviously our next match. Stay there, please don't go away. It's the football show. Welcome back. It's the second half of the show, the football show, and we've been chatting about the Super Eagles all along, alongside my mate and colleague Amos. Amos, before we went on a short break, we were talking about Chidera Ejuke. Chidera got introduced in the second half of the show. It was the show. It was a show against Liberia, but yeah. So he got introduced and he provided that creative spark, that we probably were like lacking in the first half. And obviously, as brilliant as it can be sometimes, his decision making sometimes actually lets him down, especially with the national team. It's not usually like that when he's with CSK Moscow, because he's always very forward, very creative, very forward thinking, and it creates goals, But who should now be taking charge of molding Educate into a player we yearn for? I mean, we've always said we wanted someone in the mold of JJ Okocha, Kanu, someone that can provide an attacking presence, a creative presence in the midfield. Now that we do not have anyone in that mold at the moment, but Educate comes in, provides us back, but at times it can sort of kind of like overdo it, and sometimes it's decision making, like I said, lets him down. Should this be where Raw and his team, and his technical team, should be actually working on this guy to be like our Joker in the pack for the Super Eagles?
Mm. So I'll liken his position, right, to Phil Foden. See, the midfield or the central midfield player or of this nature, or maybe someone like Chidera Ejuke, what I expect from him is a lot of brilliance, a lot of intelligence, especially in the final third, which
Mm,
is where most of his job is anyway. The final third. Every decision you make in the last third really counts. And that's what distinguishes fantastic play. Just look at Mo Salah, right? The kind of
mm,
magic and confidence that they bring in when it comes to the final third, when they get to the final third, or when they get to the box, is out of this world. The way they think. And that's why you look at somebody like maybe Phil Foden, even when he's playing from the wing or if he's playing from the middle, you begin to like, why is this boy playing this way? at the Euros, the referees, the commentator said he's got the brain of a man, but he acts, he acts like a man, but he's a kid. You know,
mm,
he acts like a man. He plays a very mature football. He got to. If you look at the likes of maybe JJ Okocha in the past, you know, it's just intelligence. You just
mm,
have to be intelligent. If you're going to be playing in the midfield, you need that intelligence. You need to be brilliant. It's not about dribbling, dribbling. No, 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 no. You need to be really intelligent. And I feel like even for JJ Okocha, this was even some of the things that didn't make him so great as he was, during his time. Look at somebody like Zinedine Zidane. Look at somebody
mm.
like they know when to release it. Look at people like Xavi. Look at people like Iniesta. Look at Iniesta could play from the wing, he could play from the middle, he could play going forward, and that's what coaches of contemporary times are trying to do. Maybe someone like a Guardiola, that's what they're trying to do. Everybody that can play in the middle can play anywhere going forward. If you cannot play anywhere going forward, then there's a problem. It means that you're not that intelligent.
Mm.
Intelligence and brilliance is what comes to play when you're playing from the midfield going forward. You need a lot of smartness. You need to be sharp. There's this coach that I used to know. He used to be my coach when I was playing football, and he's like, see, for you to play in the midfield, you need to be a wayo man. Like, yeah, because you have to be as smart. You need to be a tortoise.
Yeah.
You need to have that. You need to be more intelligent than every other person,
Mm.
because nobody should be able to predict you. Nobody should be able to say, "Oh, this is what he's going to do next." No, you know when to release the pass. You have that ball in.
But can that intelligence be worked on?
Of
Can it can
course, of course, this is
and
where
and and,
coaching
and
comes on.
which okay, all right, go on.
This is
Yeah.
where this is where the job of the coach comes to play. The guy doesn't play like this when he's in his club. Why does
Yeah.
he play like this when he comes home? Then there's a problem. If there's a change in the environment, okay, he switches environment. Does it affect his style of play? Yes. That means something is wrong. Raw needs to play to the strength or the ability of his players. Really, he needs to play to the ability of his players. He needs to allow the game flow in such a way that these guys are going to be able to enjoy themselves. They play a very rigid football. And I see Raw as a coach that is very scared. And that's why he doesn't make change until maybe 70 minutes or 90 minutes or something. And he's a very scared player. He's a very scared and cautious coach. He's too scared to take risk. He doesn't want to take risk. And that's why the team is not great. Until he start taking risk, the team is not going to be great. But at the same time, we need to also think about who Raw works for. The circumstance around Raw sometimes makes it difficult for he himself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you think
Mm.
about it again, you say, "Oh no, I think I need to cut this coach some slack, because he can't afford to lose any game." So he doesn't try to do anything extra other than 3 points. He doesn't try to
Mm.
do anything. He doesn't want to do that extra thing. He doesn't want to go that extra mile. He doesn't want to tinker the ship. He doesn't want to even tweak anything, because he's so scared of letting things go wrong. And that's why he went ahead to go and bring on Odion Igalo, because he's so scared. See, again, he proves that he doesn't trust the boys he has enough. That's what we're saying. How can you have these players on the bench? They are playing week in, week out. They are scoring goals. There is Siri Desas there. He's scoring week in, week out. There is Onwachu. You can go ahead and mention all our Nigerian players. They play week
He
in, week
did. He
out.
did.
Finding
He did.
goals.
He did mention. He did mention though. Sorry, Amos. I said when this question was posed to him. This was on the NFF TV. He said our strikers are very young,
Yeah.
and that was why I called Igalo. It's not that they cannot score. It's not that they cannot score goals, but they are very young.
Okay.
Is that not contradictory, or am I
If you
am
if you
I
say,
am I
why
because it's not that they cannot score. It's just because they are very young. That's why I
it's just
brought
because they are very young.
Igalo
Why
in.
didn't he bring on Igalo when they before the qualifier started? Why didn't he bring on Igalo? Why now when the team has almost gotten to qualifier? So how do you expect the boys who are in camp to feel? You know. So now I'm 100% certain that Odion Igalo is going to play tomorrow, right? which I don't see a
Hmm.
problem. I don't see a problem in that at all. Ojon Igalo
Yeah.
still plays football. He can come to the Super
Mm.
Eagles. But why did he call it quits in the first place? The reason why he called it quits
Mm.
was that he said he wanted to give the young guns a chance. Why don't you allow them? This is the same thing we keep talking about. Why do you want to go to the tournament? Do you want to go and compete? Do you just want to go to the World Cup, or you just want to go to the Nations Cup? It
Mm.
shows me that you have not planned enough. Because now, again, I will repeat this again. If we don't have a very strong squad now, ahead of Nations Cup, we don't have a
Mm.
very strong back line. We're not sure who is going to play in our midfield. We're not sure where our wings are going to be. We're not sure who is going to be our top nine. Of course, we know that we have got Osimhen. If we're not really so sure of ourselves, we're not so confident in our team, then I'm sorry, we're going to go ahead and crash when we play in the Nations Cup. We're going to go ahead and crash. We might not even qualify for the World Cup. I'm sorry, but we don't want to see that happen. But I want
Yeah.
the Super Eagles. I know that we're going to get past like Cape Verde tomorrow. We're going to beat them maybe like 2-0 or 3-0 or something, but which is fine. But what we want to see, let us see real development. Let's see that, you have actually tweaked this team and you are ready to make. If you cannot, you just need a draw. Are you saying that the players that we've got can't get us this draw against a Cape Verde team? You know, if that's the case, then we should be worried. We should be scared. So let us go to the tomorrow's game. Let's not be cautious. Go ahead and spank them. Make them. Let us see that. Oh, you are real giants of Africa, because we're no more giants anywhere. Anyway, we're
Yeah.
no more
Mm.
giants. We're just like every average team from Africa.
Since
Since we are scared of Morocco,
1994.
yeah.
Yeah, since we are sharing over. Since 1994, Nigeria have only missed the World Cup at once. So this is in Germany in 2006. And obviously tomorrow we're playing against the Blue Sharks of Cape Verde at Tesla Balogun Stadium. So far, Cape Verde is, in 6 games that they've played in all competitions, they've considered 7 goals, meaning there should be a problem. There should be a problem with their back line. I suppose we should have a field day tomorrow against them when we play them, no matter who starts up front.
Yeah.
Do you see Mr. Raw continue with his 3-5-2 formation, the one he played against Liberia in the last game? Or do you think he's going to? We've always said he's one person who is always scared of tweaking. He decided to tweak against Liberia. So maybe he's trying to tell us that I know the fear. So is he going to go ahead with his 3-5-2 tomorrow? Or probably because he will be thinking, I need to play Igalo in this game. Then I'll have to change it to probably another formation. I'll play my 4 at the back. And obviously, with 2 defenders. Or do you see him going all gun ho against Cape Verde, thinking, guys, today we're playing in front of our people. We just need to go out there all guns blazing. We don't need to be cautious. Do you see that happening tomorrow?
um, so one of the problems I had with the game against Liberia is we started playing long balls, and I'm like, how can you have Ndidi, Joe Aribo, and you have Alex Iwobi, and then you're playing long balls? Why? Why are you playing long balls to your striker who's alone anyway? There's a Kelechi here Nacho who is right behind him, you know, and he's I feel like Kelechi here Nacho was the one who got the ball the most on the day, actually, because he was always dropping down to the middle just to pick up the
Mm.
balls and all. Then why don't you just play from the middle? But if the middle is blocked, because that was exactly what the Liberians did, they actually tried to build a wall around their 18-yard box, and then they made it very difficult for us to penetrate. And then that's why you have your wingers. That's why you have your wingers, because the essence of playing a 3-5-2 formation is just so that your wing backs can be able to do all the dirty jobs. They can go forward, they've got the energy to go forward and come backward. But I am not so confident on Jamilu Collins with that formation, really.
Mm,
Because I feel like they really got the better of him in that game, especially with
mm.
Liberia. If we were playing a very much more quality of much more quality opposition, they would
Composition.
have they would have
Mm,
scored from there. Really, they would have scored. So I'm not confident. I look at a change from that point. I hope to see somebody like Ola. Let me see somebody like Ola. From there, who's got the experience, who's more intelligent. For going forward, if he starts Odion Igalo, who is going to be on bench? How is he going to play Osimhen? Because it will be a no-brainer putting Osimhen on the bench. The only chance that he can get to play Osimhen is if he plays a 4-4-2. That's what I think. If he plays a 4-4-2, or maybe and again, except he wants to do this, he play Osimhen and Igalo up front. He plays he plays Osimhen and Igalo up front. He plays what's his name now? Moses Simon.
Iheanacho.
He plays
Okay.
Iheanacho down in the midfield. Iheanacho will come to the midfield, play with Ndidi and maybe a Frank Onyeka, and then he plays someone else on the wing, maybe a Juke or someone. A Juke, of course. I would always go for a Juke, but I also feel like Alex Iwobi is not. Yeah, he's struggling. He's been struggling for the past 3 games with the Super Eagles. Really, he's really been struggling. Let him sit down and let him come in. If he's not at his best, play Frank Onyeka with Ndidi and then bring on Kelechi Iheanacho. Look at what Kelechi Iheanacho played at the Under 17 World Cup. Iheanacho tells us that he's that kind of a player that can connect with the attack well. And that's what we know. That's what we used to know Kelechi Iheanacho for. But because of his recent performance at his club, we're forced to play him up front with the striker.
Mm.
But if you've got Odion Igalo, and then you have what's his name now, Osimhen, and you don't want to sit one of them, then you've got to play Kelechi Iheanacho behind them, or Kelechi Iheanacho sits on the bench and then play somebody else that is much more creative. But who do you want to bring on if you don't even because the coach himself does not trust his players? Then who are we to trust them? And that's the fact. He doesn't trust them himself. So who are we to trust the players? But we know the kind of players that we have. We believe that they can do it, and we will see. We've got a very good squad, but it is just the man management that we lack. He probably doesn't know how best he wants to use them. He
Mm.
really does not know. And I feel like we shouldn't be scared of playing. Let's not be scared of playing. Let's build up. Let's see. Every time they get the ball, maybe Leon Balogun, somebody he wants to try to go forward because the guys who are in the middle are not offensive enough.
Mm.
And I don't blame him. I don't blame him every time he tries to do that because we also see it when maybe defenders in the Premiership when they try to do that. I don't blame him. When the midfielders are not doing their job, he will come and do it for them. I want to see a Joe Aribo on the bench first of all. You know, first off, yeah, it's not that Joe Aribo is a bad player,
His form so far has been worrisome for the Super Eagles.
especially for the Super Eagles. Yes,
Mm,
he's not a bad player, but he just needs to learn the African scene some more. Maybe a
mm,
friendly match will do that. More friendly games will do that for him, or maybe after we've won games, or maybe in the second half, bring him on, let him come. Let's come and see what he will do. Or you
mm,
just throw him on the wing as well. You never can tell what the player can because Joe Aribo is also a smart player. He's an intelligent player as well. He has just not evolved. He has just not found himself with that team. Probably he himself is a bit cautious, and I think that is coming from General. I feel like he's not
mm.
allowing them to be industrious. He's not allowing them to be
Oh, to
to be
express
to be that,
themselves.
yeah, to express themselves. I feel like that
Mm,
is coming. That rigidness is coming from General himself. He needs to allow these players some more. We don't have bad players. We have very good players, but we're not seeing the best of them. That's the problem.
mm. Well, so we got the Blue Sharks tomorrow. Hopefully, things go our way. We just need a point, and we should be on our way to the playoffs. But 3 points would not be bad, especially in the front of the partisan Lagos crowd. The last time the Super Eagles played there, they lost the game to Central African Republic, which was very unheard of. So this will be an opportunity for the Super Eagles to redeem their own image. We're not just looking forward to beating Cape Verde, but beating them in a spectacular way.
Yeah,
You just
style.
rolled out in style. You just rolled out. Algerians are just massacring teams. We should be doing that. People
When
should be
you're
saying
big, you are
Nigeria.
once you're big, you are big. If
Yeah,
you are not big, you are not big. That's what
yeah,
it is. Once you're a big team, you're a big team. You should blow anybody away. Even if you're not going to win, people will see that, oh, these guys were really good on the day. They were just unlucky. The
exactly.
Super Eagles were really good, was satisfied. You don't see if you lose a game, it's fine. Sometimes you lose. Sometimes you're not going to win all games. But what we're saying is
Mm,
don't lose to CAR and then you're not playing well. You know,
mm.
don't go and play in Liberia and then you're not playing well. Who are you going to play that you're going to play well? Is it a Morocco?
We-
You
no,
know.
we avoid them. We avoid Morocco. Don't worry. We avoid Morocco. Anyway, yeah. So the Super Eagles will be playing against the Blue Sharks tomorrow. So another funny thing that happened over the weekend during the qualifier, the African qualifier, we mentioned a bit about it, was the Ghana South Africa game. Obviously, what Ghana obviously making their own mistakes. The South Africans obviously doing all the piling up and what have you. And that man you're seeing on the screen, Andrea Yeo, scored a penalty that won, that gave the game to Ghana. And the South Africans are up in arms against that. They're saying that the play showed that Black Star defender, Daniel Amate, apparently dived to win the penalty that Ayew scored. And they're appealing to FIFA to please let them review that game and obviously let them replay that game, because there was a precedent, there was an antecedent, that happened prior to 2018 World Cup between the same South Africans and Senegal, and obviously they had a replay. Senegal obviously won, and Senegal, qualified for the World Cup. South Africans are saying, if Senegal could do it, you know, why can't we do it now? We felt we were denied an opportunity. We felt that something went wrong during that
Yeah.
game, and the penalty shouldn't have been given. And obviously, I remember when FIFA president Infantino at one point said he did not really trust African referees. I was thinking about creating a panel of African referees that were going to be paid by the World Governing Council, that's FIFA. And you know, do you think the South African got a leg to stand on in this game? And what do you think FIFA will be doing? Do you think FIFA will obviously say, "Oh yeah, okay, all right, we'll have a review of it"? So go and replay again, and let us see what's going to happen.
I feel like in all fairness, if that game is not reviewed, it would really be a blow to the South Africans, on the South
Mm,
Africans really, because I that decision was not the best of decisions really, and that tells you again, like we need VAR in African football, you know,
mm,
we really need VAR in African football. We're not saying that, oh, Ghanaians did not deserve to win or South Africans did not deserve to win, but that incident in the penalty box was a dive, really, from my own perspective. But I would allow FIFA to review, and I wish, and I honestly wish that they are going to make their report. South Africans are going to complain. They already said they're going to complain. The CEO, I saw a statement from the CEO. He already said that they are going to go to FIFA and then they will complain. I hope that FIFA would genuinely look at that game again, because that was indeed uh, that was a sham. You don't. How can that be a penalty? That's really, that should not stand. That penalty should not stand. If that penalty should stand, then there's a foul play somewhere. Really, there's a foul play somewhere. But I would allow the FIFA committee, who are in charge, to look at it and let them come out with a verdict, a very fair verdict on both teams. They should investigate it actually, because how can you give that as a penalty? It's really disappointing to see that in football 2021 we're still seeing those kind of errors. Men would make errors, but not this type, not something like this. You even have an opportunity to go back to your AR and say, oh, was that a foul or something? if there is no foul play, he should have gone to his AR if he wasn't sure. But he took the decision like he was sure. If you watch the replay again, you would actually see that the referee didn't mince word. Like he didn't even think twice. He spotted the incident infringement and he says, "Oh, that's a penalty." And he even gave the South African player a yellow card or something. And I'm like, why? Why did this guy blow a penalty here? And I was shocked really to see that. And that's a huge dent on African football, really. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. You can't.
especially when the whole world is actually watching.
Yeah.
It brings me back to some years ago when I was still covering the local league in Nigeria, and I went to watch a game somewhere, and I'm not going to mention that state now or the teams involved. And it was a game that one of the teams, the home team, actually needed to win. And I remember when one of the players ran to the coach of the home team, called one of the strikers and called him, said something to him, and the next thing he just, the ball wasn't even around this guy. All he did was just went down like he was shot by a sniper somewhere, hiding from somewhere on the stand, and the guy just went down. I'm thinking, what's happening there? And the referee just boom, penalty. And I'm thinking, where is the ball now? the, ball is not, the ball is not even there. And they got and the
You
funny thing was they got that
African
penalty.
football,
The keeper saved it. The guy said no, it has to be retaken.
has to retake it.
It has to be retaken. And, and obviously, and I was thinking, okay, here we go. This will be, it will continue until there is a goal. Otherwise, no one is going on today. Well, the second kick obviously went in, and that was a 1-0 to that team. And that was, I know, so you begin to wonder, can we get it right in Africa? It's funny to look back and think about these issues. Thankfully, VAR is going to be at the AFCON. We're going to witness that, but can we really get it right when it comes to football and our officials? We talked about our local league, and I'm sure it's been a long time since I've watched any local league, but I tend to want to believe that things like this could still happen in the local league. But can we get it right? Because if we get it right, we're going to be helping to develop our football. We will not be talking, we will not be criticizing our national teams. We will not be talking about players from the local league not playing in the national teams, because if you're getting it right, officiating is good, you're paying people. Man, quite a lot of our boys that run to Armenia to play, Azerbaijan to play, and whatever, they stay back home and play and enjoy the football.
So I think we're going to get it right. But we can, of course, or obviously ask FIFA to send us referees from Europe to come and officiate our games. Africans will officiate African games.
Yeah.
But we need to step up. That's the truth. And with regards to the local league, things have gotten better, especially with the introduction of MPFL TV. When the games are
Yeah.
being streamed,
Mm.
you get to see some fairness in the games, and the win at all cost syndrome, I think it has died off. You don't get to see any of those drama, any funny acts from referees anymore, because they are being watched globally.
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
from the UK, you see people watching the MPFL TV, or from America,
Hmm.
from anywhere around the world. So you don't want to get into that anymore, and into all of those drama. And with the attempt to drag in or to draw some attention from the corporate world, you don't want that to continue. So, and I think things have actually improved when it comes to the local scene, but we still have to keep stepping up. When we see things like this that happened yesterday, and then it begins to raise questions. Come on, what's this? How did this pass for penalties? It's not like we don't see some of these mistakes in the English Premier League, but
Yeah.
the referee will have to take a look at it again, or he gets communicated with and say, "Oh man, this is not a penalty," or maybe, "Do you want to take a look? Do you want to have a look at it again?"
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that tells you that refereeing or video assistant referee is indeed an assistant. Referees need assistance. They are
Mm,
also, they can make a mistake as well. They
mm.
are also humans
Human.
as well.
Yeah.
But that was not a human error. Like that was not an. I don't want to say that was a deliberate mistake, but I'll wait for FIFA, and then we'll see what FIFA would have to say about that game or about that incident.
Full time. It's already 1 hour. It's always a pleasure talking football with you, Amos, and hopefully
Yeah.
we'll be here next week to celebrate the Super Eagles
Yeah.
qualification after beating the Blue Sharks of Cape Verde tomorrow. I want to thank you again for your time with us, and yeah, next week will be another day where we'll be reviewing this game against the Blue Sharks, and obviously we'll be international break will be
Mm.
over. We'll be looking at the other African teams that have qualified for the playoffs. And also we'll be looking at the Premier League and obviously the European leagues as they report back to base. I mean, the players report back to base and they restart. Thank you so much, Amos, for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, and I hope I get the confidence to put on this shirt next week.
Definitely, I'll be joining you. We will have that confidence anyway. No matter what, I think the Blue Sharks will be there for the kill tomorrow. Hopefully,
Okay.
I stop predicting Nigerian games.
Hopefully,
Actually,
hopefully.
yeah, exactly. I stop predicting. I don't want to do that. So that's our show for today, the football show. Thank you for joining us. If you like what we've done today, please don't forget to subscribe and obviously give us a thumbs up. Tell someone about this show, and hopefully tomorrow. Did I say tomorrow? Next week, Monday, we're going to be back at 8 p.m. where we'll be talking again about football. I remain yours. My name Wale. Have a wonderful night and enjoy the rest of the week. Good night.